Hey, how's it going, everyone? Justin again, as always. Thanks for watching my channel. Welcome back. Cheers to those of you that have your beers. I hope you're enjoying your work week so far. Kind of a double feature today. Since we're in the middle of pissing people off, we might as well figure out the 7 ways that you can piss off your boss. Let's talk about it. Starting with number 1. Taking long-ass test drives. Well, let's face it, the vehicle needs to be test driven. Sometimes it needs to be test driven multiple times, but if you go out of your way to take longer than normal run times as far as your test drives are concerned, you're gonna piss some people off because now you're taking away from the efficiency of the shop, getting the vehicle back to the customer as soon as possible. Some vehicles don't need to be test driven for miles and miles on end. Some vehicles do, especially if you're doing a lot of smog work and trying to figure out how to set monitors. That's understandable. But if you just take a longer than normal test drive on a routine oil change or transmission fluid and filter, you're kind of stretching out certain boundaries. Now, I've heard of certain rumors from people that have experience with this, especially my shop owner, who would discuss things like this with me, and he would tell me that there was one guy that would take longer than normal test drives, and so he decided to follow him one day and found out that the guy was actually job hunting instead of test driving. He also found another employee later down the road that would actually take test drives to a different shop to talk with former colleagues, and he would sit there and just hang out for about 5 or 10 minutes and then turn around and come back. These are huge no-nos and no-goes in the automotive world. Don't do it. Look, guys, if you're looking for another job and you're not happy with the job that you're in, at least let them know, hey, look, this isn't working out, whatever. You can do all that on your own time. And you know what? You can even do it on your lunchtime. You can do it when you get off of work. You can do it before you go to work. But do not do it during a normal road test. This is a huge no-no, and it's a quick way to get shit canned or fired. Okay, let's move on to number 2 of the 7 ways of pissing off your boss. Number 2, taking too many smoke breaks. Now look, I'm an avid smoker. I smoke cigarettes. However, I don't abuse it, okay? I smoke my cigarettes before I go to work. I have a couple of cigarettes while I'm at lunch. I might have one towards the later portion of the afternoon just because I take my lunch or brunch or breakfast a little bit early. I might have one towards the later portion of the afternoon, and then I don't have another one until I come home for the end of the day. But I don't sit there and chain smoke like a fiend throughout the entire day. Now, I've seen other fellow smokers that abuse this rule, and they'll go out every hour on the hour to go have a cigarette, and it just kills you. Not as far as company time, but it kills your hours too, especially if you're working flat rate. You gotta be picky and choosy about what it is that you're doing and how often you do it. And you can't just sit there and smoke all day. Alright, enough said. Let's move on to number 3. Okay, number 3 would be being late to work or not coming back on time from lunch. This is huge because if you're gonna be late, you need to let somebody know that you're late. Now, I've always gone with the expression that my old football coach, Fabian, would tell us. It's better to be early than late, but it's better to be late than never. And the military rule was 15 minutes prior to any event. So you kind of fall into a rhythm of just being early. And if you're gonna be late, you make sure you text somebody, you make sure you call somebody, you tell somebody of significant importance that, hey, I'm running a little bit behind. Or, you know, hey, I was on the way there and then there was construction, or the road was closed, or somebody got in an accident, or I totally got in an accident, or I smashed and killed somebody's dog and I'm in the middle of the street right now trying to figure out how to scrape it off the road. Tell somebody something, but for God's sakes, that's why we got cell phones. Everybody's got a cell phone. If you don't have a cell phone, you're living in an era that is 2 generations too far behind, and you need to get one and just be reliant on it and answer your damn phone, make that phone call, do what you gotta do. Number 4, breaking shit. Now, bosses, shop owners, service managers, foremen, service writers, they hate it when you break something, because that means it cost the company money, and that was money that they didn't account for in the ticket. So you need to make sure that you actually let them know ahead of time, so they know what they got going on and they know what they can afford and what they can do and how much wiggle room they have. But if you break something, make sure to tell somebody. In most cases, the shop foreman is going to sit there. He's going to show you a flat rate trick on how to fix it, if it can be fixed. If it can't be fixed, it is what it is. You rolled the dice. You ended up with a broken part. And in some cases, the shop has to eat it. Now, dealerships are a little bit more forgiving than independent shops, because dealerships have a higher capital, so they're able to afford a little bit more than, you know, the normal costly repair in case you really mess something up. But independent shops, if you break too many things too many times, you're out the door. That's just the way that it is, guys. Number 5, too many bathroom breaks. So I've seen this not only at the dealership level, but also in the independent world. Look, if you gotta take a shit, take a shit. If you gotta piss, you gotta piss. Some people drink a lot of water and they hydrate quite often, and so they have to take a lot of pee breaks. Some people drink their morning coffee and it sends them to the shitter that one time. But if you're always in the bathroom and you're always spending longer than the normal duration or time period, where it looks like you just have a constant state of diarrhea the entire workday, throughout the entire work week, somebody eventually is going to notice, and it's going to piss them off. It's going to bother them because you're spending more time in the bathroom than you are on the job. And other people are just going to make fun of you for it. They're just going to say, oh, that's his other office. We had a guy at the dealership we referred to as Kyle. We say, that's Kyle's office. That's where he goes. We got a guy currently that we work with, and that's his office. So we always joke and clown with him that that's his second office. Why? Because of all the people that I've seen and worked with over my time working at the independent shop, the lube and tire shop, the dealership, these guys take the cake. These guys spend more time in the bathroom than a service writer does at the desk. That is a lot. Okay, so that's number 5. Number 6, no call, no show. I think this is a rule for pretty much every single person that you're ever going to be employed with. Never just no call, no show. That's a quick way to get fired, first of all, because you're just asking for trouble. Because you're showing them that not only, hey, I don't give a shit about you, your company, your business, and you don't pay me enough to give a shit. But 2, you're showing them that really there's no reason for them to keep you as an employee because you don't really care. Your lack of care is there. I mean, I guess it's the same thing, but I mean, God, you know, to do a no call, no show, I understand if you can't show up because you're sick, you're throwing up, you're puking, you're shitting your guts out, whatever the case may be. I understand that part. But you can always call or text somebody. I don't think I've ever had a no call, no show. I've usually always called somebody. So I know that that's a fast way to get fired and a fast way to piss off your boss. So don't do it. That's number 6. Number 7. Now this is going to be the last one for this video. Now I know there are a lot of other things out there that will piss off your boss more than the 7 that we've talked about today. And we'll do a follow-up video and we'll talk about another 7 things that will piss off your boss. But for today, let's wrap it up with this. Number 7. Hanging out too long on the tool truck. Now if you guys haven't seen it, I'll try to put a card over here or at least down in the description. But hanging out too long on the tool truck, whether you buy tools or don't buy tools, is a fast way to get your boss pissed off. In some cases, and there was only one dealership that I had worked for that was willing to do this, but if they have too many of their guys spending too much time on the tool truck, they will tell the tool truck they're no longer allowed to come onto the property. They can get their money in other means or another way, and then that's it. But they don't want them coming back on the property because it's taking too much time away from productivity. Now, they don't want to do that because they understand that the techs have a need to get tools that they need to do the job in order for them to successfully complete the repair that they're supposed to be doing. However, if too many people abuse the situation, they will take it away. Now, inadvertently, at the independent shop, they don't say anything because at the independent shop, we do work on a large variety of manufacturers, and there are a lot of tools that we need, whether it's specialty pullers, testers, etc. So they understand that there's a need for it. But Do not overstay your welcome. Do not sit there and malinger. Do not sit there and just pat around the outside edges of the toolbox and luscious tools and toolboxes and future things that you cannot own. If you cannot afford it, just stay off. If you can afford it, be quick about it. Already know what it is that you're getting ready to buy before you buy it. If something catches your eye, take a picture, take a snapshot, take a visual, ask them to put it on your wish list and remind you of it the next week when you have money for it. Whatever the case may be, get on and get off. That is the rule of thumb. Get on and get off. Now, I know that it's not always our fault because some tool truck distributors do have a tendency of wanting to talk and hang out and catch up and bullshit. Now that depends on which shop they're at. Now I've been at several shops over the course of almost 10 years, and I can tell you that I've always ran into at least one tool rep that has stories for days. I don't know if it's because that's the end of his route or if it's just because he's trying to buy time between routes. Whatever the case may be, you don't want to piss off the hand that feeds you, okay? So if you have a hand that feeds you, they're the ones paying you, and you got another hand where it's just debt and you're paying somebody else, is it really worth paying for conversation, or should you just hurry up, pay your bill, and get off? You tell me. Let me know down in the comments. That's all I got for this video. Thanks as always for watching. I hope you're enjoying your work week. We'll see you guys next time. Deuces.